welcome, Malachi News Network. And I am here with another update. Just recently on CBS News, they had an interview with a descendant of Robert E. Lee. He is a Reverend Robert, I think, W Lee. And he basically told us that the Confederate flag is a racist emblem. All right, let's check him out.
Images of pro-Trump rioters storming the Capitol last week showed some carrying Confederate flags. During the Civil War, the flag was the official symbol of the Confederate States, but more than a century and a half later, it represents rebellion and, for many, racism. The images shocked many Americans, including a descendant of General Robert E. Lee, the commander of the Confederate Army during the Civil War. Reverend Robert W. Lee, the fourth, reacted to the photographs in an Axios article saying, quote, "A flag of treasonous and seditious movement entered our Capitol, and that was an attack on our democracy." And Reverend Robert W. Lee joins me now. As I mentioned, he is the great-great-great-nephew of General Robert E. Lee. He's also an author, activist, and pastor at Unifor Church in Newton, North Carolina. Reverend Lee, thank you for joining us. As I said, you're a descendant of General Robert E. Lee, and you grew up with the Confederate flag actually hanging in your bedroom. But as we just mentioned, you said that this symbol in our nation's capital was an attack on our democracy. And you've also said that the removal of Confederate symbols overall is a no-brainer. What sparked this change in your beliefs from your childhood to now, and how do you reconcile your family's history with what you're seeing play out on the national stage?
Well, look, when there's scripture that backs this up, it says, when I was a child, I talked like a child, and now I'm not a child anymore, and I need to act in such a way that is becoming of adulthood. And I think a lot of people in our nation need to have a long, hard look at themselves and grow up, because that's what I had to do. I get it. I grew up with this symbol in my bedroom, but due to strong women of color, due to amazing people in my life who were willing to stand up and say, you know what, Rob, if you want to be a pastor, if you want to grow up and be better than what has come in the past, then you need to get that flag down from hanging in your room and reckon. And something that we'll all have to do is reckon with that history of that flag and of the symbols of the Confederacy that are still prevalent in our culture today.
Well, last July, President Trump said that the Confederate flag is not a symbol of racism and that it, quote, represents the South. In your opinion, how has President Trump played a role in encouraging those who support Confederate symbols?
President Trump has been the gasoline to this fire that has been fueled in treason and sedition against this country. As we face the greatest challenges that we are facing through a pandemic, through political turmoil, through the world, going through all the different trials that we're going through, and even our communities and our local communities. I think about it this way: we needed a leader, we needed a ship, a captain of a ship, and instead, right now, we remain a ship without a captain. He'd much rather golf than take care of the issues. And on the golf course, I get it. I'm from the South. We play golf. We know that the racism that is spewed in his politics is spewed there too. You are what you are. And he has continued to be a symbol of the lost cause, a second lost cause, if you will. He can go down in history as the president who was impeached twice. But that won't stop him from continuing to fight. So what people of goodwill everywhere have to do, people who mean well and want this country to be a more perfect union, have to rebut not only the symbols of the first lost cause, Robert E. Lee, Jefferson Davis, Confederate flag, but we also have to rebut the symbols of the second lost cause, which is Donald Trump.
Wow, so you have it. There you have it right there. You're talking about, man, some profound knowledge that was just released. Robert E. Lee, descendant Robert E. Lee's, I think he's fourth great grandson. He basically laid it out. Then he said that she asked him what caused him to change his mind. First he said the scriptures. And then he came back and talked about powerful women of color in his life that kind of opened his eyes up to the reality of the truth. And the reality of the truth is that many people who refuse to accept this as a truth continue with the narrative of the lie that, oh, it's not a flag of hate. It's just a historical marker. And this brother set the record straight. And that's all I have for now. We'll be back with more updates. Until next time, shalom.